Driver's ready? Butts to line.
Today we're going to talk about gearing with our DR10. Stock comes with an 87 spur gear and an 18 pinion. We're going to go ahead and install a 19 tooth 48 pitch pinion, and what that's going to actually do for us is help us on the top end. It's going to be softer out of the hole and give us more top end, whereas if we went with a smaller pinion, it would be harder out of the hole and softer up on the top. But when making these adjustments with your DR10 gearing, make sure not to go too many tooths in advance because you can heat up your electronics. So here's a couple steps on how to go ahead and install this 19 tooth pinion. We're going to go ahead and get our driver, 7.0 millimeter, remove the wheel nut. I'm going to remove the tire. I'm going to go ahead and use this to hold the car up for now. And we're going to go ahead and loosen up the cover on the transmission, which are going to be these two bolts here, these two screws, this one here and this one here. Once you loosen these screws, you're going to gain access to where the spur gear is and the pinion gear. Next step's going to be rotating the pinion where your set screw is going to be in the top position, so you can go ahead and access it with your screwdriver. We're going to go ahead and loosen that. Next thing you're going to want to do is loosen the two motor screws. Once you loosen the two motor screws, you're going to see the motor is going to go ahead and slide back, and we should easily be able to remove the pinion gear. After we've done that, we're going to go ahead and take our factory team 19 tooth pinion gear, cut it open. Be careful because inside this packaging you're going to have your set screw, which is very small. Hence the reason why I'm working with our factory team mat, so all my stuff stands out when it hits the deck. Here's our set screw and our pinion. One thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and use our factory team thread lock adhesive. So the way I like to do it is I'll go ahead and I'll put a little drop on my mat. I get my set screw on my driver. I brush it on here just slightly, just to get a little bit on the threads, and I'll just get it started. Once I got it started, I can go ahead and place it back on the shaft of the motor. Once you see where it's placed, we're going to go ahead and take our driver, pull it up to where it's pretty level with the spur gear, so they're both level with one another. I'm just going to tighten it up a little bit. Once I got it into place, I just want to double check that it's lined up perfectly with my spur gear. Once it's lined up perfectly with my spur gear, you're going to want to go ahead and set your mesh on your gearing. I just like to use a thin piece of paper. A piece of line paper would work fine. A piece of the instruction paper, anything would work fine. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and place this in between your spur gear. I'm going to slide the motor back in between my spur gear and my pinion, and I'm going to press into it. I'll roll it back a couple times just to make sure it gets in there nice. And what I'll do then is I'll follow up with tightening up the motor screws. Once I've tightened up both motor screws, I will go ahead and pull my paper out. And that there should go ahead and give you a really good gear mesh. We're going to follow up by putting the transmission cover back on to keep the dust off of it. One cool thing with the transmission cover is it's actually got a rubber boot on the end of the nose cone that you can remove to access your tightening of your clutch, and you can just put that back on. Just thought I'd show you that while we're there. And let's go get our head and get our wheel put back on. And there you go, now you're ready to go out and race.